Have you noticed those drama queens walking through life like they're starring in their own reality show? Someone cuts them off in traffic? It's a personal attack! A friend takes too long to reply? Ultimate betrayal. The barista messes up their coffee order? Total life catastrophe! But then there exist these rare, almost magical individuals who float through chaos completely unbothered. They move through life like a gentle breeze, barely disturbed by the drama that consumes everyone else. Someone throws an insult their way? They simply shrug it off. Unexpected setback? They adjust and keep moving forward. It's as if they're tuned into a different frequency than the rest of the world. So what's their secret? What do they understand that most of us don't? Most people bounce through life like human pinballs, ricocheting from one emotional reaction to another. They live completely at the mercy of their surroundings and circumstances. Bad weather? Day ruined. No text response? Their self-worth crumbles instantly. A stranger gives them a weird look. They'll spend 3 hours analyzing it like a detective solving a crime. Let's be honest, we've all been that reactive person at some point. The real difference between the reactive and the untouchable isn't luck or some mystical power. It's not because they've mastered emotions like some Zen monk on a mountain. It's one simple truth. They've stopped playing a game that was rigged from the start. Most people live with a massive misunderstanding about where their feelings actually come from. They believe the outside world controls their emotions, when it's actually their interpretation doing all the damage. Let me break this down in the simplest way. If someone flips you off in traffic, you have two options. Option A, take it personally, let it ruin your day, and rant about it for hours. Option B, shrug, assume they have bigger problems, and keep driving. Same event. Two completely different experiences. The only difference? The meaning you gave it. Here's where it gets mind-blowing. This applies to everything in your life. That harsh comment from a stranger only hurts if you give it weight. That rejection only stings if you let it define you. That bad day only ruins your week if you replay it on a loop like a bad Netflix series. The truth is, most of what bothers people isn't actually happening to them. It's happening in their mind. They're stuck in a loop of reacting instead of deciding what truly deserves their energy. Once you truly see this, not just intellectually, but viscerally, everything changes. Suddenly, the world stops being something that happens to you and becomes something you experience on your own terms. So how do you actually flip this switch? How do you live this way? It starts with one powerful shift. Stop giving your energy away for free. Most people hand over their peace of mind like it's a promotional giveaway. Random person leaves a negative comment. Let's spend 2 hours mentally arguing with them. Someone gives you a weird look in public. Time to overthink every interaction you've had today. Minor inconvenience. Well, that's it. The whole day is ruined. It's like running a business and giving away all your inventory at no charge. Start asking yourself, does this person's opinion pay my bills? Will I even remember this situation a week from now? Is this problem really mine? Or am I absorbing someone else's negative energy? 90% of the time, these stressors are just other people's projections. Someone is rude to you, that's their problem. Someone doubts you, that's their limited mindset. Someone disrespects you, that says more about them than it does about you. When you react emotionally, you're essentially saying, here, take my peace, I don't need it. But your peace of mind is your most valuable currency. The true winners at life, those unshaken by chaos, have realized most things simply aren't worth their attention. Here's where it gets fascinating. When you stop reacting, something magical happens. People who used to trigger you suddenly lose their power over you. Things that once ruined your day barely register anymore. The world doesn't feel as heavy because you've stopped carrying burdens that were never yours to bear. Once you taste that kind of mental freedom, there's no going back. But here's the final piece of this puzzle. You can take this even further. You can move beyond just being unaffected by the world to actually bending it in your favor. Most people don't actually want control over their emotions. They just say they do. When life throws something annoying their way, they take the bait every single time. Boss sends an irritating email. Time to draft a mental resignation letter. Phone dies at 1%. Obviously, the universe is conspiring against them. It's almost like people enjoy being controlled by their emotions. I just can't help it. That's just the way I am, they'll say. But here's the real insight. The moment you stop reacting, you win. The most powerful people in any situation, whether it's a high-stakes negotiation, a social interaction, or an argument, are always the ones who stay calm. When you lose control of your emotions, you hand over leverage. If someone knows they can trigger you, they trigger you, they own you. If a situation can get under your skin, it controls you. If your emotions constantly react to the world dictates your reality. Now imagine becoming someone who simply doesn't bite the bait anymore. A passive-aggressive comment? You don't even flinch. Someone trying to test you? They get zero reaction. Life throwing unexpected obstacles? You adapt and move forward. This isn't about ignoring problems. It's about refusing to let problems own you. When you master this, people start treating you differently. They don't test you as much. They respect your boundaries. And the best part? You start making decisions based on logic and intention, not knee-jerk emotional reactions. When you react emotionally, you're operating on autopilot. Marketing teams prey on your impulses. Toxic people thrive on getting under your skin. Systems of control rely on people who can't detach. When you react, you become predictable. And predictable people are easy to manipulate. But when you stop being easily moved by external events, when you become an observer instead of a reactor, you gain something that 99% of people will never have. True freedom. In that space where nothing outside dictates your internal state, you start living on your own terms. So how do you actually implement this? How do you rewire your entire response system? First, become an observer, not an absorber. Most people absorb every situation like a sponge. If someone is stressed around them, they become stressed. Instead, learn to observe without absorbing the energy. When the barista snaps at you for no reason, don't take it personally. See what's happening without letting it enter your system. This is detachment in action. Letting the world move around you, but not through you. Second, master the pause. Every regrettable decision is made in the heat of the moment. Emotional reactions bypass logic and hijack your brain. The fix? Pause before reacting. Someone says something offensive. Pause it. Anxiety kicks in? Pause it. Feel the urge to argue? Pause. That tiny moment of stillness gives your brain a choice. React automatically or respond intentionally. And that choice? That's where all your power lives. Before responding to anything, ask yourself, is this worth my energy? 99% of the time, it's not. Third, starve the drama. Drama, whether in relationships, work, or social circles, feeds off emotional reactions. It's an ecosystem that thrives on your engagement. Gossip only spreads when people participate. Toxic people only stay when they get a reaction. Arguments only escalate when both sides engage. When you stop feeding the system collapses. Imagine someone tries to pick a fight with you, and instead of reacting, you just smile and walk away. They're left completely powerless. People who try to provoke you aren't looking for truth. They're looking for control. When you give them nothing, they lose that control. That's why the most dangerous person in any interaction is the one who doesn't take the bait. Once you do this consistently, people begin respecting you more. They won't test you as often. And those who do quickly learn you're not the one to mess with. But what about when emotions feel too overwhelming? When detaching seems impossible? It's not about suppressing emotions. It's about reprogramming how you process them. Train your mind like a muscle. Most people treat emotions like wild animals, uncontrollable and unpredictable. But emotions like muscles can be trained. Some people stay calm under extreme pressure, while others break down over minor inconveniences. It's not some special ability. They've trained their nervous system to respond differently. Your brain has default pathways based on past experiences. If for years your brain has linked stress with panic, that's what it will continue to do. The trick? Interrupt the pattern. Every time you're about to react emotionally, stop and ask, what if I respond differently this time? Instead of getting irritated, try smiling. Instead of defending yourself, stay silent. Instead of panicking, take a deep breath. Your brain will fight you at first, screaming, "We need to react. This is how we always do it." But if you keep overriding that impulse, eventually your brain will rewire itself. One day situations that used to trigger you simply don't anymore. That's when you know you're winning. Control the narrative in your head. Your inner dialogue determines how you feel about everything. When something affects you, ask, what story am I telling myself about this? Is this interpretation actually useful? Finally, emotionally disarm people. When people expect a reaction and get nothing, it completely throws them off. You're so stubborn. Yeah, it's one of my best traits. You never take anything seriously. I try not to. You really don't care, do you? Nope. That's emotional judo, taking someone's negative energy and flipping it on them. When you refuse to be affected, you send a clear message. You don't have control over me. Nothing frustrates manipulators more than realizing their triggers aren't working. The less reactive you become, the more respected you'll be. People test you to see how much control they can have over you. The moment they realize you're untouchable, they back off. Being unshakable isn't about never feeling emotions. It's about not letting them control you. It's about making a choice. Do I let this situation define me, or do I define the situation? Once you stop reacting to things that don't deserve your energy, you start living on your terms. And that's when life really changes. So if this resonated with you, hit that like button. If you made it this far, you got something valuable out of it.
ThriveX, where growth begins. Don't miss out. Hit like, subscribe, and tap the bell icon to stay inspired. Together, we'll unlock your full potential.